First things first, now we're going to start the tedious job of cutting out all of the windows. Some of the kits that AMT and Rebel makes for the Enterprises have the windows pre-cut. I wish they would do that on all the ships, but they do not. So the Enterprise E is what we're building right now, and I used to use a pin vise that you can get at any local hobby store, and I would go through and drill out each window, and I would start. The easiest way to do this is to start at the top of an oval window, because the Enterprise E here has mostly oval windows. Top, and then I would do the bottom of the oval window. Then I would use an X-Acto knife to connect the dots. Now you have an oval cutout window, and then you have to go back and use your knife and clean it out, make sure it's nice and even oval. But I found a new way to do it, much faster, much easier, and I bought this at a Harbor Freight and Tool for cheap. I think it was $9, and it came with a bunch of little adapters and Torx and Phillips and different parts. Anyway, they had little holes in the end of them, so what I did is I broke off a teeny that would match these windows drill bit out of my pin vise kit, and then actually epoxied it into the hole in the end of this little adapter part. And now we've got something that will drill really nice and slow. I think it's 80 RPM, whereas if in the past I've tried to use the Dremel tool, and of course I think you can buy some that are real low RPM, but I have never found them. I have 3 or 4 Dremels, and they all go so fast that they just melt the plastic. So I'm starting at the top of the hole, and we're just going to drill through it. Okay, here we go. Sorry, the light's above me, it's blocking. Okay, while I was away, I started a couple of these holes, the oval holes. You can see the top and bottom of the window. And now I'm going to take a hobby knife and clean these ones out. Earlier, I forgot to mention the brand of that little drill that I got at the Harbor Freight and Tool. It's a Drill Master 4.8 cordless screwdriver. 180 RPM is what it actually is. But compared to the Dremels I was using, this thing is like super slow. I mean, it just, but it works great, and it cuts the time of taking out these windows probably, I'd say, at least down to half, maybe probably even maybe a quarter of the time it used to take. But anyway, I'm going to clean these out and I'll be right back. Also, I forgot to mention that this little drill, I also found it on eBay, but I wanted to get it the same day, and my local Harbor Freight and Tool had it, but I found it on eBay for like $9.95 and free shipping. So if you want to get it that way, you can get it that way. Well, here I am working away. I've got one little panel done here. Didn't take me very long, but I did make a mistake. Right here, you can see at the point of this X-Acto knife, I accidentally ground out a little hole there, that kind of auto putty or whatever you're used to using, and we're just going to fill them little holes, that bottom in, and then take the X-Acto knife and recut that area, and we'll be able to make it so you won't be able to even tell it happened. I'll get the rest of these holes connected with the X-Acto knife, and I'll be back. Now we have one section done, and I repaired the mangled window right here with some of the tester's putty. When we're done with cutting out all the windows, we'll give it a light sanding with 600. That'll even things up, and then we'll take a final look at all the windows, make sure they're good, and we'll go on to the secondary hull. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the whole primary hull, secondary hull, get all that done, then I'll come back. But always when you're done, kind of test it by lifting it up to a light source and see, how it looks. And that looks pretty good. It'll, yeah, that'll be nice. Okay, so when I get everything done, I'll be back. So I got to go around the whole ship. And we're gonna. This is the first time I've ever done a complete video. We're gonna do the painting, lighting, wiring, installing the micro switch, installing the batteries into the secondary hull. We have a customer here at Galactic Modeler that wants to put his batteries inside the ship so he can suspend the ship, and it can be done. You just have to widen the secondary hull area a little bit to slide the battery pack in, and it works perfect. I've done it before. So anyway, I'll be back when all these windows are done. I'm back, and we've done the treacherous task of cutting out the windows. I have decided on this ship that I'm not going to connect the dots on all these windows, because when I hold it up to a light source, I like the way it looks. And that's what you want to do. Just hold it up to a light source and see, if you're happy with the window placement. And once this is lit, and I use my my window maker to fill the windows in, there won't be the any bright light coming through like right there. But I did jump ahead a little bit. I got the windows cut out. But then they decided to go ahead and start painting the ship. And I decided to cover it with a real light coat of diamond dust testers. And I like that. When it's in certain light, you can't see it. In other light, when you turn it just a little, you just get a little bit of a fleck out of it. Really, I think it's quite sharp. But anyway, so we got that done. We got all the windows cut out of the underhull. That's done. And I've got the underhull pretty much where I want it. If you hold it to a light source, you can also see the underhull is going to be sharp when it's lit. Yeah, okay. So, and then of course I did the main hull, cut all those windows, and we'll just hold that up to a light source too. That'll be nice. Okay. So, what we're going to do with this ship is we're going to put internal battery replacement. So, to do that, I'm going to set this down for a second. So to put an internal battery, you're going to want to go through and cut out this area right here where the pylons insert, and you'll have to cut it until the battery case fits inside. I've almost got it, just got to cut a little more out. It's not going to hurt anything because there's plenty of thickness left to hold the pylons. They kind of overkilled that area. I mean, the pylons are real light and small, and they've got it built here to hold like a 100-pound pylon. So we're just going to cut some more of that out and then be able to slide the battery case in and out easily. And then once we put the battery case in, we will attach this under housing with glue dots, and if there's any light leaks, we'll fill that in first, but we'll make it so we can take this on and off easily, get at our batteries, put it back, and the whole ship will be able to be internal battery placement. That way, if modelers want to suspend the ship, they easily can. So I'm going to do some hull painting, some decaling, and I'll be back. Okay, another thing that we have to do, the nacelles are not built for lighting. Now, like this whole ship is not built for lighting, but as crazy modelers are going to light them anyway. So, this is solid. So what you're going to have to do is lay your clear piece over it, mark inside so you don't cut too big, but you're going to have to cut out that whole area. What I did is I took a Dremel tool and cut inside my line so I wouldn't get past the clear area when it's installed, and I cleaned it out real nice with an X-Acto and then real lightly with some sandpaper. And when we install that now, we'll be able to see that we'll put our lighting down inside here, our LEDs, with some, I use actually a duct tape that's high reflective. It's like a almost like a foil, and I use just little strips of it down in the bottom, and that helps refract the light so you don't get just blob hot spots with your LEDs. It just makes it more even looking. But anyway, this fits on here real nice, and there we go. There we go. And it's not outside, or the hole isn't cut beyond this this clear nacelle area. So when that's installed with the lighting, that'll just look mint. And I'll block everything out inside with black paint and silver over to make sure that there are no light leaks through the model. But anyway, that's coming along good, but that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to lay this on there and get an idea where it, how much area it covers, and then just take a pencil and go inside that area, just back just maybe a 1/16 of an inch, and mark it, grind it out, make sure you give yourself plenty of space, because you can always take the excess out with an X-Acto, but get the majority out with a Dremel tool with a little grinder on the end. Just grind her out. Leave yourself a little space. Keep laying the piece of clear nacelle back over it to see where you're at. Cut a little more, until you finally have it to where it's, just right. And I'm very happy with that. So when these are all done, they'll be great. So what I do with my ships, and a lot of the big fancy guys like Boyd Crompton, they they build their ships so that each section is done. Then they, add the lights to it, have it pre-painted, and then basically they do it in sections. Like they get the cells done, they get the main hull done, like this guy here. Then they get the saucer done. Then they get the main hull. Then they get the nacelles. And they get the lights all in them, glued together, painted, pretty much finished. And then, leave the wires hanging out of each area. Then they push the wiring through into the main hull and do all their connections, and then glue everything together, and the ship's pretty much done at that point. When it's at that point, it's all glued together. Then you go back and do any little final touch-ups and add your decals if you want. I've already started drilling out areas for the marker lights right here, and I drilled this out right here. So that's where the marker will go, there and there. That'll be the flashing marker lights for the nacelles, and they'll coincide with the marker lights on the saucer. So that's where we're at right now, guys. I'm going to go finish cutting this all out. Painting the inside, painting the outside, and then I'll be back with these nacelles finished. Then we're going to go on to running all the lighting throughout the thing, and I'll really take some time with that with you, so that you know exactly how to run your lighting. And I'll show you every little tip and trick I've learned. With right now, I think I'm about 150, or maybe I've lost count, but I'm way over 150 lighted ships that I have built. And each one I build, I learn more and get better at it, and learn tricks and tips and all kinds of stuff. With painting, I'm going to show you some tips down the road. When you paint things, if you get anything that runs over or whatever, take the tip of an X-Acto knife and just real lightly go along the edge of wherever you have some blobby, slobbery flaws. Just real lightly drag that X-Acto knife, and you can clean up a lot of problems and make everything look perfect. And it's just a little trick. I'll show you that when I get on one of these areas that's slobbered over a little. I'll take the X-Acto knife and just kind of do a little scud through it and show you how I do that. But anyway, I'm going to leave now and go back to finish cutting this guy out and kind of get everything all set up, get him painted, and I'll be back. Okay, modelers, now I'm back. It's time to do a look over of all the work you've done. 10 million windows later, I've got everything finished. So each component is done. The windows are all cut out. They've all been filled with Tester's Clear Window Maker. I've had really good luck with this stuff. Clear Part Cement and Window Maker. I used it on the dish here, and I know that the model shows green. I'm not a big fan of green, so most Enterprises that radar dish or planetary, or I can't remember what they call it, but it's usually blue. So I made this one blue. Did the shuttle bay in kind of a candy cane stripe. Did the rear windows here of the main or of the saucer I did that in blue, and then took a eyelash paintbrush and painted the the areas around it in flat black. Yeah, I'm happy with how it looks, especially when you hold it up to light. I always do a lot of light tests and make sure I'm happy with it. But when I hold it up to light, I can see that when it's lit, we're going to have a gorgeous ship. So, okay. So that's done. Little tip I wanted to give you: when gluing things together, a lot of people just use the standard glue. Well, I run across this, and I don't work for testers, but I'm just showing you this liquid cement for plastic models. It's more of a thin liquid, and it's got a super micro tip applicator, so you don't have all the slobbering problems with glue running over on everything. And like I say, on the clear parts, like this dish area here, I used the clear window maker on that, and it glues stuff real well and real hard, but it doesn't melt or slobber over into the onto the clear plastic like a lot of the regular testers tube glue will or other model glue will. I've got the nacelles pretty much finished, carved out the holes so that we can oops, sorry, I hit the okay. I carved out the nacelle there. Both nacelles have been carved out, so we'll place our LEDs down in here. I'll show you some real good tricks on that too to avoid hot spots when we get to that point, which is coming up next. I'll be filming every single part of the LED installation, from the internal battery placement to the installing the micro switch to running all the wires. We'll do each component, like for instance, we'll get the nacelles pre-wired, then we'll leave enough wire hanging out to go into the main hull, and then we'll wire and light, get all the lights in the main hull, and then we'll do the saucer section, and then we'll glue those all together, and so each one will be glued together with wires hanging out. Then we'll attach them wires and then connect all the parts together until we have a completed spaceship. It came along with kind of a neat stand. I went ahead and painted it, and I'm pretty happy with this. Star Trek First Contact Enterprise E. So pretty cool. Okay, well, I'm going to go now, and when I come back, we will start from the very first LED light to the very last LED light, and then we'll start connecting the ship, and then we'll admire the whole ship finished. So I'll be back in a bit, and we'll start the LED placement. Now we're going to start by wiring the LEDs into the nacelles in the coolers. What I like to use is it's like a reflective duct tape. And what I do is I take just little, I usually cut like about a 8 to 10 foot section, and then I just cut off like whatever thickness or width I want. On the nacelle here, I used about half-inch cuts. So I just kind of went through and went, and then went over here and went ding, and just stuck it in. Boom, boom, boom. It doesn't have to be super neat as long as it's laying flat and isn't overlapping out into the area you're going to glue. Now what we'll do is we'll put an LED pulsating right here for the collector, and then we'll put 2 5mm non-flashing, just static LEDs to light the blue area of the engines, and that will also reflect back into here. I went and molded some blue out of the solid parts here, so we're going to have blue exhaust areas. Anyway, so I'll lay in the lights, and then I'll come back and show you how I wired them in, and that will be the next step. I think I'll go through and lay in the reflective tape throughout the whole ship now, the body, the nacelles, the saucer. I'll get all that done, then I'll show that to you. Then we'll start wiring the nacelles first, then we'll go to the saucer, and then we'll do the main fuselage, and then we'll be ready to start connecting things. Yeah, it's coming. Okay, now we have the LEDs installed in the main saucer, and the best way to do this is to start like a lead wire or a main wire, and leave yourself enough from the saucer back into the main hull where you'll do the final connection. So leave it a tail, of positive and negative. Then from there, start on the saucer on one side or the other, and do your first positive, 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 loop around. And then if you have a few in the center, which I do, and you probably will or should, lay them in there. The other thing you can do is hook them up, not attach them or glue them, but just lay them in there, lightly, and kind of get an idea. Put the saucer top on and make sure your lighting is distributed the way you want it. Everybody likes different things, so do what you want. Anyway, so basically then we're just making a circle, connecting all the lights. Then I glued mine in. I used CA glue with Zip Kicker to speed things up. I used the foil, as you can see, underneath each bulb to give more reflection, and also that duct tape foil is like an unbelievable light blocker, so you won't have hot spots coming through. I also went on the main saucer and did the same thing. Now what we're going to do is, we've got it hooked up. I'm going to put the saucer top on and get an idea of what kind of lighting we've got going on. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Now we have the saucer just temporarily connected, and I'm checking all my lights, and we'll turn the lights off here so we can get a better idea. There we go. Okay. We want to make sure that we're happy with the lighting of the saucer, and then we're going to move on to the installation of the LEDs in the nacelles and the main hull, and how to route the wires through the supports. So we'll be doing that here in just a minute, but we're going to look at the saucer, and quite happy with that. I did these little windows here in blue, and kind of like how that turned out. I had to carve out a little bit of the hull or the saucer area right behind those blue windows. When you're in there, you'll be able to see what you'd have to do. Just take a hobby knife and carve a little bit of that out, so the light from the saucer lights those windows. I think it's kind of cool lit. I don't think I've seen any of them done that way yet. I think everybody just leaves it solid and unlit. But I always have to go the extra mile and be insane. But I'm happy with that. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. So always look everything over. Make sure you're happy. You know, of course, we'll seal this up here. It's just, you know, kind of barely hanging together loosely. And we've got the wires. Hanging out the back. So we'll need to carve a little hole in the main hull to let the wires from the saucer go down into the main hull and connect to the main hot and cold connections, negative, positive connections. So we're getting there. It won't be much longer and this ship will be put together and it's going to look great. I'm getting pretty excited. It's fun, huh? Nothing like a hobby. And Star Trek yields some of the best ships you could build. Very nice. Okay, I'll be back when we're doing the main hull and the nacelle lighting. So that'll be our next step, and then after that we'll be fusing the ship together and enjoying it. Okay, I'm back, modelers. What we've got all the components of the ship coming together. For you that insist on putting the battery pack inside the ship, it can be done a couple different ways. You can go in the underneath of the saucer and cut a area that would allow the 2AA batteries to slide up in there. If you look at our build of the next generation Romulan Warbird, you can see how we cut in a battery hole and then attach a little area to make a panel and then put glue dots to hold it into place. A lot of guys do that. In this build here, the 17-1A, which is pretty small and pretty tough, it's the hardest ship to put a battery pack inside. All the other Enterprises and all the other Federation ships are pretty easy to put a battery pack inside, but this one's not very big. But the battery pack is inside, and as you can see, there's even with the battery pack in there, I laid the LEDs on either side of the battery pack, so as you can see, all the windows are lit nicely. And remember, when you're drilling the windows out, you don't have to drill them all out, because I mean, somebody's got to be running the ship and working. You know, not everybody's in their rooms. Okay, here's the rear. This is where we put the battery pack inside the ship, and you just press that down and it seals nice with glue dots. Every modeler needs a pack of these. They're just glue dot adhesives, bonds instantly, acid free, and they come off fairly easy. So when you want to switch the batteries out, you just pull the panel off, and but the glue dots will hold it. I don't have any on there now, but I will at the end. But the glue dots will hold it right in there tight and securely. Just put a couple pieces in the back, couple pieces in the front, and everything will tighten down nice. The sensor here in the front is installed, and as I said, the model shows yellow or green. I hate both colors, so we're going to stay with blue like all the other starships. Okay, so that's done. Now, as you can see, the battery pack is inside. There it is. Now, I had to modify the battery pack to make this work. What you'll have to do, if you want to install it this way, instead of putting it in the saucer, you'll have to actually cut the pack in half and connect the two ends together so that you've got a steady positive-negative flow. And then I just used electrical tape. I glued the two ends together and then used electrical tape, so I went, positive, positive, negative, negative out to the ends. And then you have a elongated battery pack, and you just shove it right in there. It works just fine. Now, if you don't want to cut the battery pack down, then what you do, and I've seen other modelers do this, and I've done it myself a few times, and I personally don't like doing it that way. I'd rather extend the battery pack like we did here and just elongate it. But I've seen guys take and like I say, whoops, I'm getting out of focus, sorry about that. There we go. I've actually taken right in this area of the underhull, I followed the grid lines, and I've actually cut an area the size of the battery pack. Then I went and put a 1/4-inch cardboard backing all the way around on the inside, and then used glue dots to attach that panel back underneath. And if you're real careful, you can barely see your cutting. You might have to do a little bit of filling and sanding to get it all to really look nice. But when you're done, and then once you place your lights in there, you won't see the battery pack. It won't affect the lighting. It works pretty well. But like I say, I like elongating it this way. And this is the only ship you have to do this with. The rest of them, the battery packs just stick in. The D, Enterprise D, the Enterprise A's, the Enterprise C. You can put all of them battery packs AA right behind the radar collector, radar dish. So anyway, that's that. Now we're going to come back to the nacelles, which are almost done, but I left one unfinished so I can show you how I routed the lighting and give you some tips on how to route the wiring. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Now, these are the nacelles. One I have finished. This guy here, very happy with. Looks great. This one here I left undone. I've just got it lightly sitting together so you can see the inside. Here we go. You'll notice that I put my reflective tape in the areas where the LEDs are to get more light refraction. I find that one pulsating right here and one static LED here and one static LED about halfway down will shoot light all the way through the nacelle area and look great. I took each support area, support wing, or I can't remember the exact name of these again. I built a million of them, can't remember. But as you can see, I went through and trenched out an area for the wiring to go from the nacelle down into the secondary hull to attach to the positive negative to light the nacelle. So then I took the other end of it and just did a little notch out to where the wires will enter and exit. As you can see, there's a little notch, notch, notch. Okay, so one's done, and the wiring went all the way from down through, and here's your wiring to come out into the secondary hull attach. Now at this point we're almost finished. What we're going to do is put this nacelle together, run the wiring through, glue it all together, get her set up, and then we're going to attach all the parts of the ship together, and it will be done. So at this point you've got your saucer with all the wires hanging out of it, you've got your secondary hull with the wires hanging out of it, and you got your nacelles with all the wires hanging out of them. So what we're going to do is put this one together, And we're always doing light tests as we go. We'll turn on the lighting. And as you can see, working well. And here's this guy working well. Very happy with these pulsating lights that we include in our kits. They look really sharp. And there's the flow tube area all lit up. Now I did a little extra thing here that isn't in the kit, but I always do that. I can't stand the way they send these kits. Here's the expulsion area of the flow tube area in the rear. It comes just solid little plastic chunks, you know, like that. Most modelers paint them whatever they suggest. I personally hated it, so what I did is I just took some 5-minute modeling putty. You can get at almost any hobby store. Wadded some up, made it flat, pushed it flat surface, pushed these little guys in there, and created myself some blue expulsion. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Okay, right down there. Pretty small pieces, so you got to be careful handling them, or you'll be making more. Anyway, there it is, and it molded up nice. It's got all the shape and form that the original piece had, except it's clear. Blue resin. We'll set that over there so I don't lose it. You'll see on this nacelle and flow tube area that I have finished that it is installed. See, and it looks pretty cool. You know, that'll light up real nice when the lights are all off. That it already looked at it with lights off. Looks really sharp. You'll see it when the ship's done. But anyway, that's that. Now, let's see, is there anything else? Yeah, I wanted to show you the one thing I do like about the flow tube area of the Enterprise E is, even though the thing's small and tough to work with, the tops of the flow tube areas come off real easy, and until you're happy with everything and done, you don't want to permanently glue them on. Also, when you do glue them on, I use clear Tester's clear window maker instead of glue, because it seals them on real nice and it doesn't melt the plastic. Also, when the lights are in and you're testing, take a little black paint. If the lights are too bright in certain areas, just kind of keep dabbing and dabbing and messing around until you can see that you're happy with the amount of lighting, that you don't have super bright hot spots. And if you do have hot spots, just dab a little paint on the LED or on the foil or around the area until you've dampened the lighting down to where you're comfortable with it. And that, you know, it takes a little time and messing around. It's well worth it when the ship is done. So that's that. That's a good trick that I suggest. Also, when you're doing your saucer, same thing. If you have an area that the windows or any other area that's lit just too bright, go through with some white paint and just dab the LEDs in the area that you feel are too bright a little bit. Look at it, put it back together. Nope, it's too bright. Do a little more, put it back together, and just kind of go through that process until you can see that the lighting is exactly how you want it. It's not too bright. Our big thing is not being overlit. That's what we really push. Because I see a lot of ships out there on YouTube, bless their hearts, they did a beautiful job, but the thing's so overlit it looks just silly. And we strive at Galactic Modeler not to have lighting kits that make the ships look silly. We want our ships to look like they're CGI and they're from movies. We don't want them to look like something, you know, that somebody threw together with bulbs that are too big, too bright, this, that, and the other thing. So that's our focus, and we're doing real well with the company because of that. So let's see. Okay, I guess we're pretty much ready to attach it together. The next part of the video you'll see, the ship will be all sealed together, and we'll be flipping switches to turn it on and see what it looks like. So we'll be back. Well, we finally have the Enterprise E finished, and I have to say I'm very happy with it. I cut some holes out right here inside the ship so that I could get lighting up through this rear saucer area. Yeah, I'm very happy. It's a beautiful ship and it's well lit. I'm especially happy that I cut out these rear windows and put some clear blue paint on those. And I like that I did some clear resin pieces for the rear of the nacelles instead of just leaving them solid plastic. I just think it adds a lot more excitement to the finished ship. Well, there we have it. The Enterprise E in all of its glory.